Before we begin, let me preface by saying I love Doctor Who and will always watch Doctor Who. I don't talk much about individual episodes, partly because I don't want to give my thoughts until the series is done, and partly because I don't want to put in the work if my thoughts are already being said by others in the fandom. Even though I would enjoy talking more about what I love, and I even made a review of The Well, I have to be conscientious of my time and energy. 1 minute of me rambling here is at least an hour of video editing for me later. So, on that note, I only want to talk about one spoiler from the reality war, and it's about Rose. No, not that one. This episode was overwhelming, not only for being the longest finale episode in Doctor Who, but with how many plot twists and characters it handled. However, the more I think about certain aspects, a lot of them unravel slightly. I don't want to talk about it. But this is the one that completely comes undone, and the one that is worth talking about. When the Doctor brings Anita to unit, her doors bring reality back to the unit base, making people remember who they are and see they're in a false reality created by Conrad. However, this also makes Rose magically materialize at her unit desk, and the Doctor explains his appearance by stating,
Conrad couldn't imagine you for even a second, so you didn't exist. But now you are back, thanks to Anita.
and we, the audience, are supposed to shrug that off because, of course, Conrad's reality is warped by his bigotry towards trans women like Rose, and just women in general, like with Ruby, and also disabled women like Shirley. But wait, Shirley didn't just disappear because she didn't fit into Conrad's reality. She became part of a homeless camp and literally had to turbo boost her wheelchair in order to get to the unit base. She didn't disappear altogether like Rose. In fact, she explains how in the previous episode of Wishworld that
this is how we live. The disabled, the dispossessed, the ones who don't fit in. We get ignored. We're poor and forgotten and irrelevant, and that's the way the world is. Except sometimes all of us in the camp get these glimpses.
and look, there's even visibly queer people in this camp because they don't fit into Conrad's reality either. Shirley's talking only about disability here, but that doesn't exclude everyone else in the camp. They're all struggling together and helping each other. But focusing that discussion on disability instead of queerness helps move the plot forward because it offers the easiest, cut and dry explanation about how Conrad's reality can't be right, given how would Shirley even have gotten a wheelchair, and why doesn't she need medicine for her spina bifida? Plus, this discussion needs to center on how marginalized people are more likely to become homeless in the real world, like queer kids being kicked out or disabled people not being able to pay for their medicine, because that's the awful truth where I live in the US. Yay. And I give props to the writer Russell T Davies for bringing up this discussion. It's fucking important to have. But, again, he fumbles it when it comes to the trans character of Rose. If Conrad couldn't imagine something, that didn't mean it stopped existing, that Shirley's group would just vanish, because they didn't. Like, when he forgot to make the weather nice over South Africa, the country still existed. Its people still existed. It was vital the people still existed because they are what enforced and ultimately broke his false reality. So, in the context of the episode itself, Rose materializing makes no sense. She should have been in Shirley's camp of the ignored and forgotten. She should have hitched a ride with Shirley for fuck's sake, because I don't know how old she is. I don't know if she's old enough to drive yet. And the reason I am upset by this writing error isn't because of bro canon. This is Doctor Who. Canon is wibbly wobbly
Timey-wimey.
at best. But I'm upset because it fits in with the transphobic rhetoric in the US and especially in the UK where the character of Rose fucking lives. Because trans people have always existed and will always continue to exist. No amount of laws can change that. No amount of criminalizing visibility can change that. No amount of wishes made by Conrad actually could make Rose and all the other trans people he didn't know disappear from reality, just not exist at all. They would continue to exist in places like the Forgotten Homeless Camp with Shirley. And we know this because visibly queer people live in that camp already, and because the Doctor dressing in that denim kilt during the finale helped end Conrad's reality by questioning gender norms. This is the one plot thread I will not accept being unraveled, because this also isn't the first time this has happened. Back when Marty first introduced Rose as Donna's trans daughter in The Star Beast, he again used a plot shortcut, one which ended up calling Rose non-binary. And this would have been fine if that's how Rose actually felt and had we put time into that development. But no, it was just clever technobabble to resolve yet another big plot moment. But I let that slide last time because it could have easily been fixed with a single line from Rose's grandmother early in the Star Beast, or maybe because the umbrella term of trans doesn't mean the same in the UK and it's instead an umbrella non-binary. I don't know. Or maybe it's because they made the technobabble actually have an impact on the Doctor and on Donna. Or maybe because we so desperately need trans representation in television that we'll accept missteps. But the misstep in the reality war is dangerous because it's insidious. Just because you brought Jodie back and made Judy regenerate into a woman doesn't mean I forgive you, Russell. Even though I love Jodie Whittaker. Oh my god. Russell, I am watching you. And I look forward to what's next. But please, you're so smart when it comes to writing insidious characters like Conrad or Lindy that you gotta know how just letting your characters exist pisses people like them off and makes queer people like me feel safe. Existence is resistance. Isn't that the whole point of like Judy's Doctor? I'm sorry. Isn't that the whole point of Doctor Who? Just how existing can change the worlds with all of its characters and all of the companions. Please, Russell. I trust you know what you're doing. Somewhat. This episode really tested that trust. I'm not gonna lie. But don't do this again, Russell, please. Please. I'm begging you. It's okay. I'm sticking around, you're sticking around, and we'll see where this goes. Alright, everyone. Happy Pride. Bye!